Hello everyone, and welcome to the Season 11 Intro Guide to Akali, the Rogue Assassin. In this video, we'll talk about her runes, keystones, items, matchups, and some concepts to get you ahead as Akali. I'm Coach KURAI, and without further ado, let's get started. Akali has gotten some pretty rough nerfs in the past, but has recently received some small changes that might get her back on the riff. Akali's kit allows her to swiftly deal massive amounts of damage while concealing herself in a Shroud, making it difficult for the enemy to lock her down. And although her current laning phase has gotten slightly weaker, she gets much smoother at the later stages of the game. So if you're looking to pick up Akali, this is the best time to do it. Akali's strength comes from the fact that she is loaded with tons of damage in a kit with low cooldowns, easily bursting off squishies and often getting away with it. Since she uses energy as a resource instead of mana, she can often outsustain enemy laners in most scenarios. Lastly, I find that her 5-point strike makes her wave clear a breeze later in the game thanks to its lowered energy costs. That said, her energy cost on 5-point strike early is massive, making her pretty weak during her first few levels. She has a pretty high skill ceiling, which can be a downside if you're someone who's new to the game. On top of that, she can be very useless if you're behind due to the fact that she doesn't offer any utility at all to the team. Also, Riot has a love-hate relationship with her. Starting with her passive, Assassin's Mark. Whenever Akali damages an enemy with an ability, she's able to form a ring around them. Exiting the ring allows Akali to gain swinging Kamai, which allows her to double her attack range and deal bonus damage on her next basic attack. Keep in mind that once Akali forms the ring, moving towards it gives her movement speed. After gaining swinging Kama, moving towards an enemy champion also provides her the same amount of movement speed. Akali's Q, 5-point strike, lets her shoot out her kunai in a cone, dealing magic damage within the targeted area. Enemies hit at the maximum range are also slowed. It's a simple ability with high damage and low cooldown. Keep in mind that the cost goes from 130 energy to 70 energy, which means her laning phase will be quite weak since it can't spam, but once it's maxed out, she can be a terror, so put points in this whenever you can. A good tip to keep in mind is that you are able to buffer this ability, hence being able to perform Flash Q for a surprise slow. Ideally, you want to line yourself up to hit most of the minion wave for better efficiency. Twilight Shroud allows Akali to restore 80 energy and gain decaying bonus movement speed. It creates a smoke bomb that forms into a ring. While the Shroud is active, Akali's maximum energy is increased by 80, and whenever she enters the Shroud, she becomes invisible until she starts dashing or attacking the enemy. Keep in mind, this ability interacts with her E, Shuriken Flip, which if used, marks a section of the Shroud, and will linger for a while even when the Shroud ends. Put points in this only when you have to. Her E, Shuriken Flip, on her first cast, let's call it E1, flips her in the opposite direction and fires a shuriken that stops upon hitting an enemy, or your Shroud. If it hits, it'll mark it and Akali can recast Shuriken Flip. Doing so, let's call it E2, will allow her to dash towards the marked target regardless of distance, dealing magic damage on both instances. Do note that E2's damage will deal more damage than E1's damage, so knowing where to double cast will benefit you greatly. Put points in this after maxing out 5-point strike. Perfect execution. Akali dashes towards the targeted enemy champion, dealing magic damage towards enemies she passes through. After 2.5 seconds, Akali can dash through a targeted direction to deal burst damage to all enemies she passes through, increased based on the enemy's missing health. Akali's R is pretty straightforward, it's 2 dashes through the ladder as an execute damage. Put points in this whenever possible. One cool trick with perfect execution is that you're able to use it with flash to extend the range of the second dash, as shown. For runes and keystones, I believe Akali can mainly run 2 specific keystones, Electrocute or Footwork. Let's start with Electrocute. I believe Electrocute allows for more snowball potential, and better if you're into matchups that are not too difficult. I enjoy taking this keystone whenever the enemy team has more squishies, making it easier for me to burst them down. Having healing runes in this setup also provides a bit of sustain as well. For secondary, always take Presence of Mind so that you don't run out of energy too fast. Coup de grace will help you with your execute on Akali's ultimate. Next, Footwork. I like taking this whenever I'm against poke or any difficult matchup. This helps me sustain in lane much more often, and I actually would advise going for this setup if you're just picking up Akali. It's much more consistent and it allows you to survive in lane more. Again, make sure you take presence of mind for energy regen, take legend tenacity to reduce crowd control in yourself, and for ease of choice, coup de grace. For secondary runes, opt to go for a second win and revitalize for maximum sustain. For items, you want to start with Doran Shield for consistency, or Dark Steel if you're feeling confident in a matchup, or if you're running Electrocute for better snowball. I like to think that your first base could either be Blasting Wand or a mythic component like Hexic Alternator or Leeching Leer. On the topic of mythic items, I think it depends if you're running Electrocute or Fleet Footwork. Get Night Harvester / Hextech Rocket Belt or Riftmaker respectively. For the optionals, pairing Riftmaker with Demonic Embrace is good because Demonic Embrace helps with keeping Riftmaker active due to its damage over time passive. However, if you're going for another mythic item aside from Riftmaker, I believe going for Lichbane for that extra burst proves to be better. Those aside, Zonia is a decent buy if you need armor and need to buy time, White Staff as your standard % magic penetration item, Merlin as a heal cut standard, and finally, my favorite hat, Rabadon Staff Cap. Although they buffed it to be cheaper, having other items before buying this allows Akali to be active a bit earlier since other items are slightly cheaper. At this point, it's safe to realize that Akali has two routes that you can build towards to. Electrocute with Rocket Belt or Night Harvester into Lichbane, or Fleet Footwork and maybe even Conqueror paired with Riftmaker into Demonic Embrace. I think both Playstyles are perfectly fine and have their own strengths. Going for the former allows for more snowball potential, and the latter for better consistency in lane. As you get more experience with the champion, you'll be able to decide better to go for which route depending on the game. Personally, I enjoy burst damage from Electrocute as much as the next guy, but often find Fleet Footwork working very consistently in most games due to its abilities to sustain Akali. Matchup wise, Akali doesn't necessarily have terrible matchups, but just obnoxious ones to play as Akali. In most cases, you just want to farm the early game and prioritize farming minions as safely as you can. Once you hit your spikes, level 6 and 9, you'll be able to take control over the game as Akali easier. Let me know in the comments if there's any matchups that needs more explaining. Let's talk about some laning concepts that can help you have a smooth time playing Akali. As I mentioned earlier, Akali's early levels are weak due to her 5-point strike costing 130 energy at level 1. You're encouraged to play slightly more passive until you get at least level 3 where most of your abilities are available. When you have Twilight's route ready, do not be afraid to use it as a means to contest with a minion. This gives Akali a bit of fighting chance to take control of the lane. Depending on your playstyle, you can either look to play much more aggressively from level 5, or take it slow by waiting until level 9, in which Akali's potential is fully unlocked. Speaking of which, when you are level 9, she is able to spam 5-point strike much more frequently, enabling her to easily clear minion waves with ease. There's a lot of combinations for Akali's combo, so much that it's difficult to explain in detail for each and every one of them. However, there are a few that every Akali player should know, so let's explore into that. QWQ, or better and better combo for easy trades during the laning phase. The idea here is to do a quick poke with your Q, go into your Shroud to avoid trading back from the enemy and hitting them again with your Q. Bonus points if you can get a passive hit in. W into E1 into Q into E2. I like to imagine using this when the enemy is playing way too safe or when I want to force a trade to happen. This combo allows me to close some distance and travel back to my Shroud after trading. Sometimes this is all you need to set them up low enough for a kill, or even a dive. Q flash into E1 into E2 into W into Q. Now, a more advanced but still manageable combo. Use this when you're trying to secure a kill or when you spot lethal on the enemy. You want to make sure that your Q flash combo hits at the tip so it slows, making it easier for you to land your E. Okay, this might look complex, but it is a fairly standardized Akali combo. Use this for all-ins. The bracket indicates optional steps. They're efficient if you can input it into the combo, but not always necessary depending on the situation. Akali is quite a mechanical intensive champion. She snowballs really hard and easily goes in and out of the enemy backline, making her a formidable ninja. I won't recommend her to someone who's just learned the game, but if you're looking for a guide to ease you into playing her, I believe this could help you learn the champion and dominate solo queue with Akali. And hey, that's the end of the guide. Thanks for watching if you made it all the way here. Again, the whole point of my guides is that it's just that I'm trying to make guides that are easing people into the champions that they want to play, but they have no idea how to play the champion. The guide might look a bit complex, but again, I'm not trying to make it too advanced. I'm just trying to let you know that, oh, okay, these are the simple steps that you can take in order to become X champion player or Y champion player. So hopefully I'm still going for that goal. I appreciate the support. We hit 500 subscribers and we're halfway to the 1K subscribers, so I can have the community tab open for me. So let's all work hard in this upcoming year. I know it's been late. It's already April and this is my first video of the year, or second, I think. But hey, it's a grind and I'm willing to grind for it. So again, thank you so much for everyone who's supporting me to now, and I will see you on the next video. See ya.